Boss! Pop's getting cranky!
Hello all you lovely cosmonauts, as always I am Cosmic, and today we're going to be reviewing Atlas Reactor, a new turn-based strategy multiplayer game developed and published by Trion. So what is Atlas Reactor? Well, it is essentially a turn-based tactics game that is solely focused around online PvP multiplayer. Teams compete in 4v4 battles, and you can play these solo, you can play these versus bots, you can play these of course in online PvP, and there will be ranked and custom games coming soon. Now, you choose from a roster of characters, which is a nice selection of varied different characters. You have firepower characters, which tend to be range damage dealers. You have frontline units, which tend to be up-close melee tanks. And you have support classes, which tend to be focused on healing and providing certain buffs like shields. In terms of the character roster, I have to say that I was very impressed. There's a good range of varied characters that have different playstyles, and the character design themselves is really good. Like, every character has its own unique personality, they look very distinct, and there's even a wide range of different looks and styles. For example, there are like alien creatures in there and almost fantasy style creatures mixed in with sci-fi futuristic characters, and all that together blends really nicely to make sure that people have someone or something that they want to play as. Now, those of you who know me know I love a good turn-based strategy game. It is one of my favourite all-time genres, and Atlas Reactor does it so damn well. I love the focus on multiplayer. It is very much like playing an XCOM match in multiplayer over a smaller map, and you only control one single character and other players control all the other characters. And it's so much fun. It is refreshing, it is unique, and the playstyle of the game and the depth of the strategy is something that I have rarely experienced in a turn-based strategy that solely revolves around multiplayer. So let me give you an example on how a normal match in Atlas Reactor takes place. So every turn in Atlas Reactor you have three phases. You have a prep phase, then you have a dash phase, then you have a blast phase, and then you have the movement phase. Now essentially each character will have a number of abilities that will correspond to one of the phases, and then they will go in that turn. So if you elect to use a prep ability and then maybe a blast ability, then your prep ability will be used first, then everyone will get to use their prep abilities as well, and then the dash phase and people will use their dash abilities, and then the blast phase and you'll be able to actually use your blast attacks. Now, blast obviously is usually an offensive phase where people can use their offensive abilities. Prep usually revolves around abilities that are going to do something, maybe give buffs, maybe give debuffs. And dash is obviously a fairly large movement phase in which players can use their dash abilities, which usually resolve around getting out of situations or trying to cover large distances. For me, what I love most about Atlas Reactor's gameplay and its core design is the idea of it's so team focused. It really requires teamwork to be a good team, because there are abilities that complement each other, there are characters that complement each other, there are strategies that you need to think about, and it's a case of you've got to start to understand what abilities and what characters are going to use what where. So for example, if I'm a frontline character, I need to be able to assess where the enemy is going to be so that I can intercept them before they reach my support characters. So you not only have to read what your teammates are going to be doing in terms of what abilities they're going to use, thinking about what you have to use to complement that, but it's also about reading what the enemy is going to do, because there's no point in using your melee ultimate ability if next turn, you know for a fact that the enemy's dash ability is ready and they're going to dash out of range, and then you've wasted your ultimate on absolutely nothing. Now, with all this strategic depth and tactical depth and this reading of your teammates and your opponents, there is a little bit of a barrier to entry to Atlas Reactor. It's not too steep, but it is a case of it will take you a while to really become accustomed to getting used to thinking, a couple of moves ahead, thinking about what other characters are going to be doing, thinking about what your enemy's going to do. Because when I first jumped in, I have to say I was bloody awful at this game. I was really, really bad. And it does take you a while to kind of acclimatize to the idea of it's not about what you have, what abilities you have ready. It's all about the situation. It's all about what your enemies are doing, where you're positioned, where your teammates are positioned, and what could go down as the turn progresses. Once you've gotten used to that, holy crap, is this game fun. I cannot stress enough how fun this game is. It is probably one of the best turn-based games I have played this year. It is fantastic. Matches don't last too long. It's fairly, for a turn-based tactical game that has so many elements to it and so many players in a battle, it is so fast-paced. I can't believe how fast-paced it is. I thought it would be slow as hell, and it really isn't. There's so much to think about. There's so much fun involved. Each match feels unique. You never feel like you're out for the count. Now, there's only one really mode in the game at the moment, which is the 4v4 PvP, and essentially how that works is there is, I think, 20 turns or 10 turns, and it's the first to 5 kills. So, or if the time runs out, it's whoever has the most kills. And you may think 5 kills, that's really easy, but it actually isn't. Especially when you have two good teams together, you will often find that you probably more than likely will run the timeout more than you will get all 5 kills. There's a really nice synergy to the gameplay that just feels so good when you and your teammates coordinate and you get a couple of kills in a row just on one turn because you've synergized, you've used all your abilities to complement each other, you've made sure that the enemy can't escape, and pulling that kind of tactical depth off is so satisfying, is so much fun. And I think that there's very few games, especially turn-based strategy games, that give you that sense of satisfaction in such a short period of time. Now let's talk about the business model of the game, because it is a free-to-play game, but it isn't in that sense. It is free to play. Players can play for completely free. However, they are limited to what characters they can actually use, and they are stuck on a rotation system, which means that if you get to like a certain character, next week you probably won't be able to play him because it'll rotate and you'll have to use different characters. Now, if you're happy with that, and I can see many people being happy with that because it does force you to play different characters and learn different things, that is all well and good. However, there are the Freelancer Edition and the Ultimate Reactor Editions, which you can pay for, and they will give you all the Freelancers forever for completely free. The Freelancers Pro and Ultimate Reactor Pro will obviously give you extra skins, and which leads me nicely on to progression. So progression in the game is very simple. There's no progression in terms of characters leveling up. They do level up in that sense, but it's only to acquire cosmetic items. There's tons of cosmetic items, there's tons of skins to be involved in, and that's a lot of fun. But the best thing about freelancers in terms of progression, so to speak, is the way that you can customize them to suit your style of play. So each freelancer has abilities, and you can mod these abilities, and you can purchase new mods with an in-game currency that you earn by playing matches, and these mods will mod one of your abilities in some way. So for example, you can have an ability with a mod that maybe deals extra damage or heals you if you attack an enemy in the right way. There's also catalysts. Now, catalysts are basically abilities that are consumable in a match. Now, you obviously get them returned at the end of the, for a new match, but in the single match, you can only use catalysts once, and catalysts can do a range of things from give you 30 shields for a turn. You have a teleport catalyst, which will teleport you a medium distance, and you also have, a heal over time catalyst, which you can use, which is a lot of fun and particularly useful. I have to say that if you are a fan of turn-based tactics, turn-based strategy games, you have to pick Atlas Reactor up. It is so well executed. It is so much fun. I can't believe how good this game is. I have to say I do enjoy the inclusion of the free mode for free-to-play players, because you know, it's a lot of fun for them. It's a good way to learn the mechanics of the game. It's a good way to learn lots of the different characters. But I think that, you know, if you wanted to buy the All Freelancers edition, which is $30, it's well worth it. There's tons of content to be experienced. That, you know, you'll easily put in a lot of hours with this and get your money's worth for $30, and you get all of the freelancers included. So there's no reason why I wouldn't recommend anybody buy it, because it is well worth it. The only thing I think the game lacks currently is a variety in terms of game modes, because obviously it is solely focused on team deathmatch currently. We also have yet to see the implementation of ranked mode, which will be interesting. But I think that a variety on game modes is a must for the longevity of the game, and I think that it would work really easily. You know, especially for such a team-focused game, it would be easy to add in team objective-based game modes where, you know, you could hold a point, or, you know, have to secure a location, or something that just involves a little bit more teamwork, and it would just complement the rest of the game really nicely. Ultimately, from me, it is a definite must. It certainly gets my recommendation, my so-called seal of approval. I recommend you go try it, even if you just pick up the free mode just to try it out, because there is a lot of fun. It will take you a little bit of time to get used to, but ultimately you will get an experience that is really worthwhile and a lot of fun. The game is packed full of charm and character. It's got a really interesting world and universe, and the characters are so well designed and so funny that it's just worth it all round. So that is my review of Atlas Reactor. Thank you so much for watching and listening. As always, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I was giving away a All Freelancers edition code for free, so you can check that in the description below. Like, subscribe, and as always, I will see you next time.